Welcome back, everybody. 7CR. I'm Tibbercat, the Titan main. We have our Hunter main, who's gonna regale us with lovely jokes today.
Oh yeah.
And our Master of the Void, Chance Gear Shifter 09.
What a fancy introduction. I like it.
I've seen what this man does. He makes people cry. Anywho. TWAB this week was a lot of community stuff. It was kind of nice. They're getting into I'm surprised they're talking about Festival of the Lost this early and that they're actually involving the community. That's impressive in and of itself.
So I like the forethought. And I
Joe,
like
we trust.
Yeah, I like the community involvement because that's what community managers should be doing. Just saying. They should be the guys giving us polls and stuff like that. Speaking of polls, they gave us a lovely one.
I hate you.
Our community question, super fun, right? Who'd you vote for? Are you, team dinosaur, or are you team movie monster? I wish we could have both because I would love to make fun of Titan's T-Rex arms.
So this is the way I look at it. When this is thought up, you just have the hunter that's sitting over the background. Like, it's like a fight when you're in school. Like, you see the two kids, like, just squaring off and whatnot, and then you have the one kid that's hyping them both up. Like, he said your mom. Yeah, I know. He talked about your sister, too. He's, like, literally egging both on. That's hunters at this point, because literally the Godzilla one for the monster and the raptor for the dino look fantastic. And then you have warlocks like, I want movie monster because I don't want to be a triceratops. And then you have the Titan over here that's like, I am the T-Rex because I am not going to wear that Cyclops. That's the way I feel.
So who'd you vote for?
Team Dino. I'll rock those T-Rex arms all day. I do have one complaint about them. Somebody in the Destiny community, OBK Cat, she redid. She took the model, like the mock-up of the Titan that they did, and added some small things that made it look so much better. Like most Titans, I am tired of having shoulder pads that will catch rainwater when I walk outside in the rain.
I can, as a non-Titan main, and I don't know, I'm probably a little bit more fashion inclined than some of my Fire team members. Looking at you, Chad. Yeah, I agree. I can't stand the design choices on Titan shoulders in D2 for the most part.
There's been a few exceptions that I like.
Very few.
Most of them are ornaments, thankfully.
Mm-hmm. Transmog coming though, so eventually.
2 seasons? 15?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was
14. 15? Is it 14?
It's 14 is better. I'm digging it. But yeah, for the most part, I like the dino. The shoulders go with what OBK Cat had, and I'm ecstatic. I told my wife I normally don't spend money on these, but come Halloween, I'm gonna need $15 so I can make myself look cool and look like a dino.
So, Tibber, fully Team Dinosaur.
Full Team Dinosaur. Full send.
What do you got, Gear Shifter? Who you siding with?
Not gonna lie, I picked Monster solely because the Hunter set looks like Godzilla and that's clean, and I'm a huge Godzilla fan. But I'm cool with either or.
All right. So as the Hunter, the guy who looks great and everything, I had to go Team Monster, and I am going Team Monster for the same reason Gear Shifter went Monster. I, growing up, was a huge Godzilla fan. 90s kid, right? So in the 90s, they were making Godzilla movies still. And I'm not talking like that terrible Matthew Broderick one where Godzilla was in New York and Godzilla was just like a giant lizard. Talking like full-on Japanese, like kaiju type Godzilla. So the fact that I can be Godzilla in Destiny is definitely, definitely a plus for me. I wouldn't be too mad if, I got to be a raptor. I'd probably just walk around quoting Step Brothers all day, but just roam the backyard. My T-Rex arms as my Titan.
I'm not even gonna be mad about it. It looks sick. Like,
no, I'm happy. I'm happy we're being included. To be honest, that's really
I mean, and this far out too is something.
Yeah.
So, community question. Obviously, we want to hear what y'all voted for. Sign off down below. Team Dino, Team Monster.
Which part of the Civil War are you on? Yeah.
When crossplay comes out, we're gonna end up doing this. We're gonna have a rumble match, and then Chances is gonna kick our asses.
Just bring Chad that way.
So, I looked at our stats. For those that didn't see on Twitter, Crucible or Trials Report, has a new thing called a Crucible Tracker. It's in beta right now, still has a few bugs, but you can type in your name and it shows you all of your stats for the past 10 matches for your guns, like your accuracy, yada, yada, yada. But it also shows your KD and KDAs for each game type, all in one place. Very nice and neat and pretty. And I looked at ours, and Fates and I are pretty close. He's higher than me on Trials. I'm higher than him on Comp.
So, let me defend myself, because I feel like I need to defend myself. My comp is so bad from playing with certain people that I had literally had to, double carry to Fable back before they changed the rank up system. When, Fable faced Fable kind of deal.
Uh-huh.
So that was from playing with 3 people who, were Destiny, 100% blueberries.
My Trials has tanked because of when you and I tried playing on PC.
Trials is bad simply because of Worthy and the cheaters.
You're almost breaking even. You were really close compared to what I was. I haven't played enough to bring it up.
So I've played a little bit this season, and I have played significantly better. Than I did during Worthy. Worthy just was a shit show. And
Worthy was a funky meta too.
I hated that meta. It was the bullet hose, low skill gap meta, and it was awful. But yes, I've been super. I shouldn't say super. I've been a lot better this season, a lot more consistent. Mostly because I love hand cannons.
And then on paper, we look at Gear Shifter, and he would wipe the floor with us. Got the Gilded Unbroken. He's almost 2 on all his things. So yeah,
we'll see who wins, him or Chad.
That would actually be really good to see. Dawnblade versus Voidlock. I'd be down.
He's not a Voidlock.
Huh?
I don't think he runs Void, or I'm sorry, I don't think he's a Dawnblade anymore. I think he's switched to Jesus Beam. Yeah. I forget what it's actually called.
Chaos Reach.
There you go. Sorry, Jesus
Beam works.
That's just been the call out, So yeah, but no, I forget. Actually, he might be using stasis too. I don't know. I don't remember.
So I've come to the conclusion that when we're playing Trials or Comp and I see a Warlock running Shadebinder, it's one of 2 things. Either the dude is running Stasis because I'm horrible at the playlist and I just need to be using what's the best at this point, and Stasis is what they're hoping for and they're horrible with it. Or 2, they are fucking gods with Stasis. It's one of the 2. There's no in between.
Yeah.
I was playing Stasis Hunter this past week in Comp.
I've used it in Iron Banner just because of the amount of other Stasis Hunters. Really, that's it. Other than that, I've been rocking GG.
if I'm gonna play Hunter, it's all about the golden gun, bottom tree throwing knives, bouncing them off the walls. Yeah. But I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna expand, try something new. Last week I bought the Frosties that Zur had. Very solid pair, and yeah, I unknowingly had a quick draw opening shot Astral Horizon sitting in my vault. Range, masterwork, barrel, and mag were all off, but they weren't bad. Like they were okay, and I grabbed it and went ahead and upgraded it to 1300, and I went to comp with it, and I was collecting hate mail yesterday. It was. I see why you like Hunter. I can see it. The mobility is insane. Being able to just throw stuff all over the place, jump back, pop a dude with a shotgun, and
it's
you have to think on your feet. You cannot be flat-footed. If you're flat-footed, you got nothing to help you.
Hunter fits my play style. I like to take that. I like to play a bit of a high risk, high reward game.
I.e. the jump shot snipe. I saw that.
Honestly, if I played a bit more cautious and probably a little bit more, I don't know. I don't want to say safe, but if I did, I'd probably have a higher KD.
Same.
But I'm just like, I could do that, or we could just like absolutely steamroll them because I'm on their flank and they have no idea.
So Titan, it's you have all kinds of stuff all over the place. Chance, what about you? What helps your play style with Warlock?
I'm not gonna lie. First reason I only picked Warlock is because they have a trench coat, like way back in D1.
I have to say, I agree with him. That is why I picked Hunter to start D1.
You just wanted a cloak.
It looks right.
I was like, who doesn't want a cloak? And that was it.
I made Hunter starting D1. Like, it wasn't until Taken King came out with Chaperone and no backup plans that I swapped to Titan. So I can play both really about even. Hunter, it takes me a lot longer to get in my groove.
I've been a Hunter through and through, but Warlock was second, and eventually I made a Titan. Honestly, the only reason I had a Titan in D1 because of bubble for raids and stuff. Literally the only reason I made a Hunter or a Titan. That I was like, I might as well have one of each. But
I'm
it took
fairly certain I didn't even make a Warlock until Taken King.
Oof.
Yeah, like
I was a Void Lock in D1 too. I was not a Sunsinger.
Yeah, no, I take it back. I was Sunsinger, and it wasn't Taken King because I remember playing Sunsinger in Trials because I had the Purifier robes. I got them to drop the week they came out, and I blinded the crap out of a whole team and wiped them after we should have lost.
Very nice.
Literally used to just identify whoever was the Sunsinger and just camp his orb with a super. Oh, you want to come back? All right. Well, here's this blade dance to your face.
If you'll backstab.
Backstab was so great. So broken.
So here's to hoping. But if they give the light subclasses the treatment that they've done to stasis with different aspects, fragments to change the way stuff works, I could see them easily bringing back stuff from D1. Backstab as a fragment. For self-res, for Dawnblade as a fragment. They could do Shatter for Voidlock.
Yes, please. Yep. Shattered and Lance, please.
So
I don't like the current Nova Bomb options.
With Titan, it'd be a little more difficult because Titan really didn't have any changes that I know of.
Just bring him back, Fist of Panic.
Make it a one-time thing, and it's got increased radius.
Just delete fucking what's that? Eternal Warrior. Does the Eternal Warrior still do the same thing?
Eternal Warrior you have an overshield wall in.
See, they changed it. You used to get more verticality and stuff. Yeah, you jump, like you could literally like hit the skybox and then come down on people. I could see them probably folding in a couple of the old. I don't honestly, as a Titan, you'll probably get some new things. Like I could see them maybe, like I don't know, like extending the timer on with a
Code
of the Missile or something, or like
blocking.
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. I got the Curious of the Falling Star to drop finally. The roll was perfect. It was intellect and strength, 17 in each.
Well, you know what would be fair? If they made Twilight Garrison a fragment.
Yeah, you know what?
Since Warlocks already have Icarus Stash.
I'd be down with that. Take some of the old. That would be what they could do. Take some of the old D1 exotics and put them in as fragments. That would be pretty sick. I am down with this. Joe, if you're watching, we can help you.
I'm much more willing to help you, Joe, than I was.
I won't put you in a Hell in a Cell match.
Not yet. Not yet. You know, I'm still watching you. But
Trials was canceled again this week.
Good job, community. We did it. That was the goal.
So they said on the official Bungie help that it wasn't canceled because of the win trading. Which, if you're unfamiliar, if you're paying attention to anything in Destiny, this was the big thing. If you wore the Hake emblem, you would play on a dummy card and play Trials until you came across a team with that had two people with a Hake card and then one person that didn't. The one person that doesn't have the Hake card messaged the other team that doesn't have the guy that doesn't have the Hake card, and they essentially roll dice to see who rolls the higher number, and whoever rolled the higher number is the one that gets the win. At that point, you log out of your card, swap to the character that has the card that you're actually playing, and the other team jumps off the map for 5 rounds to give you your win on the actual card. And by doing this, the week that the Igneous Hammer was up, over half of the Destiny community on PC, they didn't give numbers for Xbox and PlayStation, but half of the Steam player base went flawless when they had like 5 kills or less. So, obviously there was a problem there. But the reason why that Trials was canceled last week and this week was because the Adept chest at the Lighthouse was not giving out the same loot after the first pick. So, like, last week was the Igneous Hammer. Some people were getting extra Igneous Hammers, like they were supposed to, but then other people were getting boots and like things that they shouldn't have been getting from that flawless chest. It was supposed to be a farmable Igneous Hammer if you went flawless every time, and it wasn't doing that. So they canceled it. And this week, I think they've probably fixed that, because that seems like they fixed things like that in the past before, fairly quick. But I think they extended it this week because of the win trading. Nothing's been official said on that, but it seems like it. If it is great, it sucks. Like, it's just Trials in and of itself is just a shitty situation at this point.
Yeah, and that's all Luke Half-Baked Smith's fault. I'm just gonna blame him because it's easy. I sat down, earlier today and kind of wrote down some notes and some thoughts. So very clearly, obviously, I think we can all agree win trading is like borderline cheating on an integrity level, almost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it falls under the same category as recovs and literal cheating.
Technically, recovs are against Bungie's terms of service, but they've never done anything about it.
Yeah. So why are we here? What got us to this point? I'd probably say Trials loot being inaccessible to
the average player.
The average player, most Destiny players. Which is kind of odd to think about, right? So like we've had discussions. I've had discussions with guys who like go flawless and like already have their flawless title and all that kind of stuff. It's always, well, the loot's not the reward. The reward is going flawless, right? Like I believe, like I've had that conversation. I don't know if you guys have had anyone say it or heard anyone else say it, but I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, it's about going flawless. It's not about the loot or blah, blah, blah.
I go into
So
like for the average player, case, that's not it.
Exactly. So if that's the case for, you know, your high tier players, and even if it's not, and it is about the loot, why not make it rain loot? You're saying, well, but fakes that devalues Trials loot.
Who gives a rip at this point? There's no Trials playlist practically.
Okay, but hang on. So
I'm jumping ahead.
Obviously, yeah. So let's just say they do increase it, right? Let me flip the page here. So there's a couple things I think they could do, right? You could do after match drops, right?
Yeah.
It's always something that I feel like that used to happen in Trials. I don't remember though.
It did. There was a whole separate armor set and weapon set.
So, say after match drops, whether it's after wins or after losses, could be both. I really don't care as long as there's stuff dropping. If not that, how about we, I don't know, make it almost work like the Recaster, where I can turn in my my tokens. I get to choose if I want armor or if I want guns. Why not? Since the fact that your loot pool doesn't like change really, right?
That's fair.
Give them the choice. Make it also if it's an armor engram, why not make it work like the chest from what is it? Pit of Heresy, I think, where you get the chance at armor dropping with 16 and 16 in two different stat columns.
Yeah, that's good.
Why not do that? Is that really going to hurt anyone? Realistically?
No.
Nope.
Stats are stats. Right. I mean, if you
that's
play bad, you're not going to be able to utilize it.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to say you're going to get it where it needs to be or where you want it to be. So, talking about increasing loot. So that says, okay, well, what about Adept Weapons and, people who go flawless? There's nothing for them. Thought about that too. So right now there are two perks that are tied to fire teams, being the last of your fire team, right? There's Celerity from Trials, and there is Bottomless Grief from the Nightfall Weapons.
Or Nightfall, rather.
Make them intrinsic. Tie them to the weapon frames, or the Trials weapons.
And they did that with D1 Trials, and people complained about that because it was, it's not intrinsic enough. But the thing was, it was just unique enough that it helped the playlist that those guns came from, but it didn't break the game.
Exactly. Honestly, I don't know anyone who's super excited about most of the mods, if I'm being honest. So
Adept Icarus is what everybody wants, and that's it.
Other than that, Other than that, let's look at some other things. Why not? So, we don't have any Trials shaders.
We don't?
Right? We don't. We have, I think there's one from, when Trials first came out. From, the quest line. That we got to build the lighthouse. And it was ugly. It was yellow and brown. We don't have any Trials shaders. Why not, make ones that RNG drop, after matches like the Ghost Shells and stuff. But why not a flawless specific shader, Ghost Shell, Sparrow? Why not have flawless versions for these things? But also make ones that say, I don't know, your average player could get, randomly just playing trials.
That's how I got my Ghost Shell. So,
I got mine that way too. I don't have this season's, but I have the other one. Why not do both, right? Like, why can't people who go flawless have stuff? People who are just playing who don't get to go flawless have stuff, right? Like, there's stuff there, right? I don't see why you couldn't do most of this stuff and have it lead to a healthy player pop. And that's just rewards. I haven't even touched on matchmaking.
Yeah. I mean, the rewards is honestly the sore point, because this whole win trading system came from people that are average players or below average, not having access to the loot, and they wanted to get a win, and they're like, hey, there's enough of us that are average or below, we can work together to make it where it's like, hey, look, you want to get into the club, here's my fake ID, I'll get you in, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so like that's literally like, and loot is always the big discussion. The next one is 100%. Like, honestly, if they did that, would you be more inclined to play trials? I feel like I would be personally. Like,
literally, it's gotten to a point where we look at the 3 wins and then we decide yay or nay, right, Chance?
Yeah, pretty much.
We look at the whole card still. Mostly
5 is where we like draw the line, because with the people that we pick up for our third, the one that would give us the best chance, I feel, would be Ace. And then it just depends on the night with everybody else. Like, sometimes we mesh real good, sometimes it doesn't. But like, consistency wise, me, Chance, and Ace do fairly well.
So we'll look at 5, but shoot for 7. Not necessarily flawless, but I mean, if we get there, we get there at this point. But I think I hit 7 with Draco and his friend, who was like 1270 the week the sword was up. And I think Ignis was Adept. Ignis was 7 or flawless. So like we hit 7. We went 7 and 3. I mean, with me being 1290 and his friend being 1270 and being able to get 2 tapped. So, besides rewards, I would say the other thing was matchmaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
how would you fix matchmaking, oh mighty hunter?
So,
connection based again.
So I'm looking at 2 different things, right? Like, so people say skill based, right? Not a huge fan. Not because I'm awful and don't want to play, sweaty matches. I look at skill based and I see the fact that Destiny is still peer to peer, and I absolutely hate it. There's one reason I wanted D3. It was just give me dedicated servers. This game would play so much better with dedicated. But I would say connection based. Personally, I would agree with Chance. I mean, both essentially are going to kind of give people a chance to go flawless, right? Like, you could go flawless skill based matchmaking if you're like a point, 2 player or whatever. Like, you're going to play other guys who are around your level. You're just going to be waiting a while, right? Or you end up playing the same teams over and over again. So it's not really fixing the issue, at least in my opinion. Longer wait times and stuff.
If you keep beating those players, eventually they're going to get fed up and leave the player pool, and then your player pop is going to go.
You're also going to end up still with people doing recovs. So you're probably just going to end up playing guys who like are super bad at PvP and don't want to get better, then just pay for the recov anyway. That's an entirely different, ballpark and fixing recovs. But yeah, connection based matchmaking. I mean, it's literally luck of the draw. You could play, Frostbolt in your first match, or you could play,
I'm still in recovery. Okay.
You could play a bunch of, guys who like are brand new to Destiny. Like, it's just You could have a super easy card. You could I don't know. I played during House of Wolves when it was connection based, and that was by far the most fun I had playing Trials in D2, or well, in Destiny, I should say, not just said D2. House of Wolves was definitely not D2. It also kind of
that's when I got my flawlesses in D1.
It was my favorite time. I like everyone's like, oh, Thorn, Hawkmoon, and Last Word meta. Oh, it's so terrible. I'm like, it was fun.
Scout rifle and shotgun here. Still clap cheeks.
Messenger.
I did use that once I got it, but to get it,
yeah, Messenger, or I was a Last Word guy. I use Thorn occasionally.
I also like calling that the Yeehaw cannon. Yeehaw on the field.
I definitely was not a Hawkmoon fan in D1 though.
This one feels a lot better. I wasn't either, and I like it now.
I used it, but it I don't know. It just wasn't. It just didn't feel as
it was like nerfed, so we didn't really get to try it out when it was in its prime.
That's also true.
It was okay. I mean, I don't know. I think it just depended on the person. To be honest, I mean, I had it rather. I don't want to say early, but I had it for a while. Even wasn't like I got it late and barely used it before they changed it or anything. It's just I didn't. Last Word felt so much better. But yeah, I think connection-based matchmaking, it kind of gives everyone a fair shake. Guarantees that, I don't know, you get to, luck of the draw. I mean, you could have real bad luck and end up playing, absolute god tier people all the way up the card, or you can end up, playing a bunch of people who are worse than you.
It just depends.
I just don't think skill-based. I just don't think skill-based matchmaking is the way to go.
Whatever they had the very first week of Trials, like the very first week that it ever dropped, that was the best possible combination. Y'all remember the skirmish playlist? It was 3v3. Basically, skirmish got turned into showdown. The way showdown plays now. You don't remember that one?
I remember skirmish in D1.
Yeah. It played like a showdown where you could revive your teammate to take away their score from the other team. I was playing skirmish with a couple of guys the hour before Trials launched. They messaged me afterwards, hey, do you want to play Trials? And I was like, yeah, I don't have a team. You got two? Yeah, we're partied up right now. We'll play with you. They pick me up. 30 minutes later, we're flawless. Like, we just were steamrolling teams. Whatever that was, I mean,
if it was House of Wolves,
yeah,
connection.
It was the week that it dropped. Like the very first week, 30 minutes to an hour, we had our flawless.
They did something. I want to say it was like December-ish of Taken King is when they flipped matchmaking, and it became super sweaty. I don't know.
I just remember the way it was, and it was just like I had so much more fun playing that. And
I used to go flawless every weekend.
If connection base was it, that's fine. But at the same time, I know that I'm in between on this. So on the one hand, connection based, I'm gonna have a more stable connection. I'm not gonna get knocked off. I'm not gonna have all these other issues. But it's gonna be a toss up of what I'm gonna get every time. And part of the problem right now is people aren't playing their card full. So, what ends up happening, you get your first loss, of course, you want to keep your mercy reset. Well, because since people are getting their mercy and resetting and staying low and not playing the card out, that's reducing the player pool at the top. Because isn't it right now
but
at
like
some point you go into card-based matchmatching after the first 3 or something now?
yeah, so it's connection off the first 3 and then card-based after that.
There you go.
So, but see, the reason that that you're running into that issue that everyone's resetting is because there's no reason other than like there's no reason to go high to like go flawless, or even go above the 3. Right? It's easier to just once you have the gun in your pool, it's much easier because the adept mods, except for Icarus, aren't enough for most people to go and chase adept weapons, right? Like there's just not enough reason to climb out of the 3 wins even. Unless there's a weapon that you don't have yet higher up on the card, right? Like there's just it's easier to farm tokens that way.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason. I think if you fix the reward issue and you go to connection-based matchmaking, you're fixing your problem a bit. Is it going to guarantee people aren't going to sit at the bottom of the card? Probably not, because Trials never worked off a token system in D1. At least not when it first came out in House of Wolves, which is the rendition that made put Destiny PvP on I would say the content creator map, right? Like Trials
that was where people started talking that hey, this could actually become an esport.
Yeah, but I mean, it just can't. But it's
well, this is what that play style, like, you know what I mean? And what though if they like saying that in the right circumstances with the right sandbox development and ability development, this could be something that went esport. But of course, with how D2 is right now, there's no way. It's not a competitive game.
It's I think if you fix the loot problem and you go connection based, because all right, so let's look at the loot and during House of Wolves, because I would say consensus between the 3 of us, that was Trials' golden age, right? Like that was the high point was House of Wolves, even with the meta that some people didn't enjoy. That was the high point. So let's look at the loot. What was there really to go after at that point? There was the messenger. The armor was sick looking. Yeah. Really, that was. I don't think there was too much other than that, gun wise.
Doctrine of Passing.
Doctrine wasn't bad. Was that? No, that was Taken King.
Get a summoner first.
Give me a second.
He's pulling it up. The sniper rifle. I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't Eye of Soul.
Summoner, messenger.
So
I think Water Star or Jewel.
The summoner. So the first year 1 was you had the chance at Etheric Light, which was a big reason people went or even played. You could get the summoner, the scholar, the messenger, or the Jewel of Osiris. The Jewel of Osiris was the hand cannon.
I remember that one being solid.
Year 2 was the Doctrine of Passage, the Water Star, Reflection Sum, and the Inward Lamp.
Inward Lamp was the sniper. No, Inward Lamp was the scout.
Inward Lamp was the scout. Reflection Sum was the pulse. Water Star was the hand cannon. Doctrine was the auto. That was year 2, so that was when Taken King came out.
There was a sniper for Trials at some point that was amazing.
It's not listed.
It was the 3rd gear, I think, or 3rd.
Hang on. Maybe this list isn't complete. Oh. Oh, see, there's a whole bunch of stuff listed here. Well, the following was Blind Perdition, Burning. See, the Winged Word? No, that doesn't sound right either.
Summoner.
Hang on.
The winged word was the sniper. Those were year 3. We're looking at this because we're like wondering, did we slip into the Twilight Zone and we're remembering things wrong?
I'm sorry. So this is the year 1 list. Okay.
I found it too.
Astral Horizon was on there.
I literally don't even remember that.
Exiles Kurt, because I think its rolls were awful.
Okay.
And Matador 64 existed, so why use anything else?
It was a lot easier to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exiles, Eye of Soul, Jewel of Osiris, Infinite Theorem, which was the LMG, the Messenger, the Scholar, the Summoner, and Tomorrow's Answer. Tomorrow's Answer, I definitely remember being in the loot pool.
I remember Tomorrow's Answer, of course, the Messenger. Exile's Curse, I vaguely remember.
Now that I remember the shotgun, actually, now that I think about it, I do remember Astral being in the loot pool because I got one and it was awful.
The sight screwed me up, and I still don't like the sight in D2, but I can manage.
I have gotten a lot more flick. I flick a lot more with it, so like I'll scope in quick and then scope out, just so I can get the pellet spread from scoping in. But so I mean, like loot wise,
let's get Chance's take. He's been really quiet, listening to us argue and shit. Trials. What do you think would help benefit the playlist at this point?
Like Faith isn't saying, make the loot more accessible. I think definitely connection-based matchmaking at this point, because like, yeah, it would be nice to have this playlist be like the super sweaty thing that the competitive players playing on the weekends and whatnot. But if no one else is playing it, you might as well like open up the skill gap a little bit in there. I think loot just kind of needs to drop regardless. Like while you're playing the matches, you got a chance at a weapon or something, right? Like you get a chance at a weapon or armor. And the higher you go up, the more chances you have like the weapon or armor dropping. And then obviously flawless, you get your adept like shit and all that nonsense. Beat up mods probably need a buff, but that's who cares about that? We just need more players in the playlist first. And outside of that,
yeah.
I think a lot of the issues come from the from the meta right now too. But that's a whole other issue we can talk into.
You mean stasis or guns, or both?
Yeah, stasis mostly, but like that's already getting resolved eventually, right? Like we already know that's coming.
There's still a few outliers with the light subclasses, like Geomags and PvP are something.
Yeah,
else.
I was gonna say Chaos Reach, especially like because people have like only come into it now because like it's a good counter for stasis. I don't know what you would do about that without messing with it in PvE.
So they've done the things before where different perks have different tunings for PvE and PvP. If they just toned it down with the effective Geomags in PvP, I think it would be fine.
The timer just needs to, yeah. I think it's just the timer needs to be. I mean, like right now, running like an optimal Geomag setup, like you're getting what 4? Like if you're getting the kills and assists and like you're building that super energy, I think somebody estimated it was like 4 supers a game potentially.
You can basically have a super in under 2 minutes.
So I would say Geomags need to be tweaked, and you need to not be able to shoot that thing through boxes and around corners because it is super annoying. It is super annoying to like take cover, and he's just like, nope, psych, I can shoot this through walls.
Jesus beam.
Just like there's no hiding. But I mean, like even like the gun loot, changing that's solid. But I think if you added in some more cosmetic options, people would. I don't say like, oh yeah, just add shaders, it'll be fine. But like, you know what I mean? Like adding.
We've had a discussion before how you feel about titles. You don't care about titles.
Titles are different.
To you,
I think
to me, I like my titles, but how you feel about titles is how I feel about cosmetics. I could care less.
I look at it this way. Okay, I'm not saying cosmetics are the only thing that would fix it. I'm saying like the additional stuff.
Yeah.
For those people who do care about it are interesting. My stance on titles is more along the lines of I don't think titles should dictate how the game is played or people like we had this discussion for the flawless one. I think I was talking to Taco at the time, and like I was like he was saying something and I forget what it was, and
you had to go flawless on so many maps or some there's that.
He was well, it was more along the lines of like dictating changes to the game along the lines of the title. And that should not be the case. My example being, for those, my example being was, I remember using the example. So another game I play and played for a while, a long time ago. RuneScape has a special mode called Iron Man mode, right? Where like you are choosing to handicap yourself. You can't trade, can't do like interact with other players, can't buy stuff off the general market. You have to get everything yourself. That's a choice, right? I feel the same way about titles, right? If you want a title, that is your choice. They should not dictate the updates to the game based off of title. I'm not saying your title means nothing.
Or like in general.
I mean the flawless title. We were discussing the flawless title, and I wanted changes to the game. And he's like, well, that would affect the title. And I was like, I don't care. The title should not dictate changes to the game. If there's something they can do to fix trials that would cause the title, like them to have to change the title, they should do it.
With every season that goes by, I just feel like it's getting worse and worse, and trials need CPR. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, they need to be able to do something. But like, if the argument is, oh well, that changes the flawless title, man, you need to change your perspective because it's a title. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm saying, oh well, they need to change all of trials to give me trial shaders. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm saying for those people who like that sort of thing, there should be a reward, right? Like, it should be an option. The fact that we don't have one, but we get Iron Banner shaders, and Iron Banner's literally a free mode, is kind of silly. At least in my mind. Not saying that they should take away the Iron Banner shader, although they are ugly, so I wouldn't mind if we say didn't get one. I mean,
we're no longer a PvP podcast. We just talk about Destiny fashion.
Facts. No. But like seriously,
fashion
like
is
some
the
people,
game.
some people like ghost shells, some people like sparrows and stuff. Like, do you remember? So, with Shadowkeep, they released those the sparrow and all that stuff in the store. And people were like, "Well, why doesn't the Shadowkeep strike have? Why aren't they? They should be rewards for that." And that's true. Like, so they should. More in-game loot that you can get, like cosmetics, isn't a bad thing. Not everything has to go in the item shop.
I agree. I feel like the thing, if you're going to make something themed after a season, it needs to be part of the season and us be able to earn it. And if you want to sell us something, make us something worth it. I.e., what we're seeing for Festival of the Lost. They'll have a customer with me if Team Dino wins. I will buy that freaking Dino armor set because that's freaking sick to me.
I am in love with this season's ornaments.
Yeah, they're pretty.
I bought them both. I bought both the ones for the Hunter and the Titan. I haven't looked at the Warlock arms to decide whether they're getting purchased yet or not.
I have the Warlock set. I bought the whole. I straight up bought silver for the Warlock set. I'm not even gonna front. But that was after they announced Joe and everything. And I was like, all right, here you go.
Have some money.
you got rid of Luke, so here you go.
Don't consider this payment. Consider this as a donation of goodwill.
But I've picked up the arms and stuff on both the other characters for brightness, so I will be finishing those sets.
I'm probably gonna pick pieces apart on the Titans because some of it I really didn't care for. Some of it was great.
I'll probably just get it just because.
The helmet's getting bought straight up.
I definitely want the helmet. The helmet's super nice. The shoulders were okay. I didn't mind those. But I really like the Warlock set.
The Warlock, I need to buy ornaments for him because I'm not a fan of pretty much any of the Warlock armor.
I was rocking the set from Worthy. The what is it? The ornaments for the Warlock there.
The Righteous.
The Lux overcoat.
Oh, those. I missed the week that was for sale, and I didn't get it.
I actually picked those up. Like, I actually bought it because I was like, I'm not letting this, like... As a non-Warlock, the thing that pisses me off about D2 is there's not enough trench coats. Or coats in general.
Yes. Jesus Christ. Thank you so much.
And the
like 3.
And the Warlock in the back. Oh, that's hilarious.
We really do need more. We have like 3 of them, and like 2 of them are good.
I like how the seasonal ornament for the Titan, or not the Titan, the Hunter, literally isn't even a cloak. It's a hat. Like, let's be real. It just turns your cloak into a hat.
I haven't liked the Hunter seasonal stuff in, like, the stuff from the past in a bit. The only thing I liked last season was the cloak.
The cloak was okay.
Because it's long. And so we have literally turned into a fashion podcast.
Well, we got 9 minutes. It's okay.
So my favorite, the one thing that I disagree with almost every other hunter on the face of the planet is I hate cloaks that don't have hoods. So the one that came from the Lux set, that I refuse to the one without the hood, refuse to touch it because like half the time Bungie doesn't model the back of like the hunter helms, and they look like you have like an egg for a head. So I don't bother.
He's afraid his head will crack when he rolls on the ground.
Facts. I also don't like. So like, do you remember the D1 scarves that we used to have as hunters? I hated those. Absolutely hated them.
I feel like they just wore the Vault of Glass or one until the Trials one came out.
I wore Vault of Glass until that one came out. I wore Trials, and then there was what was it called? It was green, white, and black. It had snake on it. I forget what it was. Came from the speaker.
Errant's Knight? No, that's the one for this one that's got the snake.
Inventory, class items, hunter.
He's looking it up.
I am looking it up because I want to remember. It was the Venom of, and I don't know how to say this word.
Oh, I remember the one you purchased. You purchased it from him.
Yeah, it was white on top, like lime green in the middle, and then black on the bottom, and it had like a viper on it. I used to wear that one too. When Taken King came out, because there was like no other full length cloaks that I actually liked.
Let's. I mean, we went all over the place this episode. We've talked Trials, we talked a little positioning, we talked Destiny fashion and our hopes and dreams.
Facts.
So we'll be back next week with some more PvP stuff where we'll really
send our fashion stuff in. You know.
Yeah. But again, thank y'all for hanging out. We appreciate it. It's kind of getting into a rhythm. A weekly episode up. We haven't missed too much yet. Trying to get them out on time on Sundays. Sundays is kind of what we're shooting for now.
I definitely want to do some more stuff though for you guys.
So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube. You're gonna get some videos down the way. If you're following us on YouTube, be sure to hit the bell. You can notify when we're live. If you want to catch us live, you can find me at twitch.tv/Tippercat and Tippercat on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. That's a lot of freaking T's all in one place.
Twitch, Twitter, TikTok. Try saying that 10 times.
Too much for Titan Man. Too much for Titan Man.
Get you some crowns and let you calm down.
Okay, sounds good. Fates, where were they gonna find you at?
Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Fates _Pyro. No. Fates _Pyro, pretty much everywhere.
All the places.
Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I think that's it. If I'm missing something, you probably don't check it.
And Gearshirts, where are they going to find you at?
At Gearshirts on Twitter and Instagram. Or Xbox if you want the hands. I'm always open.
He said if you want the hands.
Ooh, the 1v1 is open. The gauntlet has been thrown. Oh. He woke up today and chose violence. Can you tell?
You sure you're not a Titan?
I'm telling you, he is a Titan that just wears robes. That's going to be it for us here, folks. Thank you for hanging out again, and we will catch y'all later.